Hi everyone, welcome to the last session of the day on the Innovation Theatre. My name is Mike, I'm the founder at Gazzar, and I'm just hosting this stage today. So to introduce our last speakers. Before I do that, just one point to note, there is an opportunity to ask questions via the app, via the Gazzar app, and to do that you just go to glsr.live/ETL. I think it's going to come up on that screen soon. And there's also a QR code if it's easier for you to just snap the QR code. We will be taking questions via the app, but you can also, at the end of the session, raise a hand if you want to do it that way, and you can, and we'll bring a roving mic round. One other point, if you can hear me, great. If you can't, try the headsets, because at the back, it's easier with the headsets. I think if you're near these speakers, it's easier not to have them. While the guys take their selfie, I'm going to introduce them. Thanks, Dalhlia. Chairing this discussion is Dalhlia from Dalhlia Agency. Many of you will know her. She's a face around the industry and always nice to hear her speak. And she's joined by Jan Loblik, who from Happeny, who will be talking about NFTs, which I think many of you will be fascinated by, know something about, or just be interested to see whether they're relevant in our space. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Dalhlia and Jan.
Thank you. Thank you, Piddock. Hello, everyone. Hi.
Hello.
You guys still alive? Yes. Did they suck the energy out of you yet or not yet? They keep giving you drinks for a reason.
Where's everybody? Get more people.
Yes, more people. Jan, thank you for joining me for this.
Well, I couldn't do anything else.
Okay. So just a show of hands. How many people know about NFTs? Just how people? I saw so let's do the whole meso. How many people think they know about NFTs? How many people want to know what WTF is an NFT? Yeah? Let's do that. It's the truth serum right now. So we're going to go from basic to advanced. You guys good with that? So what Piddock said was if you have questions, please ask us questions, whether through the app, Gazzar is amazing for that, or whether it's the old-fashioned way of just screaming at us. We will get that, okay? So introductions first. Jan, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. So hi, guys. So you can call me Jan.
Can you put the volume up? Yeah.
When I was about 20, I went for short holidays to the US, and it sort of got out of hands, and I returned after 15 years. And on top of some experience, I brought one nasty friend called, sometimes he's a good friend, he's called Parkinson. So that's why I'm dancing a little bit for you, so you have extra entertainment, I hope. And should I tell the story how I got to NFT, or?
Well, yes.
So I don't know how you guys found NFT. I found out this way. So this is my story, right? I use LinkedIn as sort of a tool for my business. Basically, 95% I spend on LinkedIn. And somehow I read an article about a guy in Canada named Jordan who got a cancer. I read the article and somehow it hit the nerve, and maybe because of the Parkinson, it sort of brought me to tears. And I wrote him a poem, and it sort of gave me it gave me something. So as a sort of, in a sense of I paid back or pass it forward, I've offered everybody that I'm gonna write people, custom poem. And then I was thinking, okay, so in the digital world, if you write something, how do you assert ownership? And that's how the only thing I could come up with was basically NFT, which. You can Google the definition, but basically NFT for me is something like a certificate of ownership. Let's look at it this way to make it simple.
But it also gives a value add to the recipient.
Oh, well, you have to find the value. Finding the value, the added value to NFT was kind of hard.
Yep.
And so let's say with the poem, if you write a poem or if you draw a picture, it's sort of hard to find the added value. I was thinking, I wrote the poem and I was thinking, okay, what can be the added value? How can I sell it? So I was thinking, okay, maybe it will have some animation, it will have some graphic, but I was still thinking that's not good enough. So I was thinking maybe the poem can be, I can use, let's say, 10 girls with beautiful voices, and use Scottish accent and Cockney and whatever. And I was thinking, okay, that's good, but not good enough. And then somebody told me that some of my poems are sort of more like songs. And now you can probably see the options, because if the poem or the song is good, it can make money. It can bring you some revenue, or it can help sort of. You can build community around it. You can have a band who plays the song. Here in the US, everywhere. So you can see the possible value. So yeah,
Yep.
that's about.
So just a show of hands, how many people are organizers in the audience? How many people are suppliers? How many people are supplanners? That means you are across of the two. Thank you. So am I. Yes. Awesome. So this is where I just want you to start thinking creatively. I know that you're hearing a lot of the buzzwords of NFTs, Web3, decentralized, all of that. But what you essentially can use with these concepts is how do you activate creation and creativity from your side, but ultimately what your community or your events or your stakeholders, even your internal teams, would want as a value add. So we're going to play around with a couple of ideas, but like on the event side. Even though these are ideas, what NFTs can be for implementation on an event side, think of it for yourself in regards to internal teams, or think of it of new audiences that you want to have within your event or within your community. Cool? All right? All right, so let's talk about, Jan, share some examples, up to 3 examples of how you can activate NFTs pre-event, like before the event even starts.
Well, you can sort of mint VIP tickets for the event, and let's say you have regular tickets and you have NFT tickets. The NFT tickets will be for a VIP group. I can later on post some examples who actually have done it this way. And this VIP group gets extra treatment, gets extra services, can get a bottle of whiskey before the event. There's quite a few options. You can do pretty much anything.
So how do you transfer, I don't know that much about NFTs. I do not own a monkey artwork of any kind. So for me, if I want an NFT ticket, for example, how do you deploy that in registration or pre-event, or how do you market it?
Oh, well, I would use some of the companies who actually mint the NFTs, and they usually have some sort of utility builder, and you just have to decide what you actually want to do with it. So what do you want to give them, and you have to realize that basically the NFT is something like a record in time. You basically can't fake it. Once something happened, it's written, in a blockchain, and how to make it simple. You definitely know that, if you ever went to a concert and bought a ticket and then you realize, oh, that bastard sold 20 of those already, and you couldn't get to the concert. So with this one, it won't happen to you. You can maybe boost it with, facial recognition, but basically the NFT is really unique and it just checks against the record.
Can you transfer an NFT to someone else?
Yeah, and this is a great thing. Imagine a membership, right? You can have membership to different, clubs, which bring some advantages, some services. And one thing what I consider sort of very important, memories. And, and usually when somebody, let's say, dies, it's finished with them. And this way you have the record and the whole history and the things which actually can sort of become valuable because it sort of can turn into memorabilia, or, let's say.
Okay, so let's pretend that you want to have your regular registration tickets and you want to have maybe a higher tier, and then you have the NFT ticket. What if you want the NFT ticket to be almost like a lifetime journey, if you will, not only for an event, but across community, or continues to give you value add?
Well, let's make it simple. That's one ticket and the NFT. And the NFT can, as you said, the one ticket, the regular ticket can be ticket to this event, and the other one can be lifetime ticket with access to, different bonuses during the lifetime. It can be, every Christmas you receive from Dalhlia free ticket to her events. I don't know, anything.
All right. So how about speakers? What can you do with speakers that's unique and has an NFT link to it?
Let's say for speakers, or let's say even for, depends how those people are paid, right? You can sort of set up some smart contract, and the speakers can be paid by a percentage of sold tickets, and so basically these people will get paid directly from what the event will make. The same way it pretty much works. If let's say musicians or artists, if they sell their song or whatever they produce directly, they might have, let's say, they have a control on the money they're getting. They might get, let's say, 90% of whatever they sell, while if they go through some recording studios, they might end up with 10%.
Okay. So I know that Jan has been talking a lot about musicians and about singers, and those are creators, right? And I think there's a huge shift that's happening within our industry where we are in the creator type of experience now. We're all creators, we're all content creators. So it's kind of funny where we all should think almost like that we're all musicians. So we have that ability of not changing moods within, rooms and stuff like you do with music, but it's also thinking of it from a persona of a creator. So like what kind of creators are you having within your community, or what are you creating that is going to have that value that people will say, yeah, I would want to own an NFT or a lifetime, membership, for example, to your community or to all your events that you're putting forward. So question for everybody, how many people are struggling with attendance and registration and keeping those numbers up? And you can be honest if you want, or lie to me and say you have no problems whatsoever. Registration numbers up, even sales. How about sales? Pipeline full? Healthy? You said no? And so this is where the creative part of even new concepts like NFTs will take into play, meaning how do you incentivize not only those new clients that are coming on board, but also on the flip side, your sales team, right? So it's kind of a different way of thinking. So should we talk about examples, Jan, about NFTs and deployment within an event? What are some creative ways of using NFTs during an event?
You got me now. Creative ways during an event. Creative is sort of specific word.
Yep. Or what do you think works?
Well, there's a little problem that NFT got sort of a bad name lately.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm looking at the NFT technology as something what gives me, as I mentioned before, it's sort of record in time. It gives me certain control. It allows me to work and create the community. I think we have to help me with this question.
Okay, no worries. So when
it.
you said something very important right now, that NFTs is having a bad reputation. Why do you think that is?
Well, like any other emerging technology, it's sort of, people feel the hype and they want to join in because whenever there's new hype, new technology, somebody gets rich. And unfortunately, so many people wanted to get rich so badly that they invested money to companies who created metaverse and were offering basically things which had absolutely no value. If you probably all heard about, Board Monkey Yacht Club, which basically had, those were only pictures with, I don't know, I'm not going to judge artistic value, but it was basically a picture without any utilities. It was just a picture. Or the guy who bought first NFT, first tweet on Twitter. And I don't know whether he bought it for over $1 million, but it's just ridiculous. Everybody can access this, the same thing, and it just has no value because there's nothing attached to it. And many of those metaverses and these sort of things, when the company has a bank account or address in Cayman Islands, don't go for it.
So with any emerging technology like blockchain or crypto or metaverse or NFTs, what's your advice for event organizers that want to deploy or have NFTs be part of their strategy?
Well, definitely get somebody. There's many companies who are actually serious, who help people like you think what you want to achieve. Go talk to them. They help you and make sure that you know how much money you're willing to waste eventually or lose without crying.
Can you make money on NFTs?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah? How?
Oh, well, one of those things is I actually hope that I'll make money on some of my songs. So, and you can mint NFT, and basically part of the NFT. Let's say if we look at membership, right? You sell the membership, and part of this might be that the people will be actually getting real stuff. Within the year they get, let's say, I don't know, bottle of some alcohol. They get some real stuff, or they get some services.
Cool.
So you just have to make sure, you just have to feel that the membership and the cost, there's enough. It has the value for you.
Anybody have any questions so far? Huh? That's okay. Where is? Oh, okay. All right, we have a question. You ready, Jan?
Okay. I'll go check it.
Yep. What is the carbon footprint of an NFT if it is using the blockchain? Does this use a lot of energy in terms of servers?
Well, it's true that the mining is getting more and more sort of energy.
Yep.
But some of those currencies are basically changing the system. So plus, I believe that Earth needs sort of, it's good for plants.
It's good for plants.
Yeah.
Okay.
If there's more carbon in the air, they're greener, they're bigger, we'll have more food.
Yeah. Okay. You have one more question. You ready?
Yeah.
How do IP rights work with NFTs? IP rights, intellectual property.
Well, unfortunately, this is sort of not exactly mapped question. Lawyers will have to do a lot of work to decide how it is when people die, because it's sort of this is new thing. So
Yeah.
we'll have to wait a little longer to make sure that all this is legally sorted out.
So because this is a new thing, there's still legalities and regulations
Exactly.
and guidelines that are being shaped around it.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of groups of lawyers who are sort of working on setting up the rules for everything.
So for those that actually deploy NFTs, and then you have others that just change it a bit and then try to pass it on or use it and so forth, is this why NFTs is getting a bad rap?
Oh, it can be part of it, but I believe some of those things you just have to take the way it is and go ahead.
Right.
I believe that new thing. We should not be afraid to, let's say, admit that some of those things will be used by people without paying, but such is life.
Yeah. Any more questions? Any ideas? You guys been thinking of how to use NFTs for you or like playing around with it? Anybody using NFTs for their events? This is like virgin land. Like have we been here before? Like mobile apps a decade ago was a new thing, believe it or not. Was it? Well, it's now making a comeback, other than the QR code, which I think is making the best comeback ever. Any other ideas how to use NFTs or for even post-event or within a company internally?
Well, if I would look at post-event, I believe that one of the most important things about events are the memories you bring from there. And let's say some of those, NFT products I've created for, I don't know, BNP Paribas and for some other banks is, let's say, I try to attach attach physical object to that NFT. So the company, let's say, buys NFT as a gift for people, and they get, let's say, a picture of the event where the people are happy, So when they see, it brings the memories back, and it attached to some, I don't know, it can be attached to some landing page where they actually have, I don't know, videos and all those things that they've done. That can be one of those. And I would definitely recommend, guys, if you want to do sort of group, we can find a place, have a couple drinks, and we can just talk about it as a humans with little shorter distance. That's what I would recommend. I would like to get to know you. I'm partially blind, so I can almost not see, barely see you, but I know that there's a girl, I think.
You know
is it Kate?
Kate?
Oh, jeez.
Yes.
I didn't recognize you there.
All right. Anybody have any clever ideas what they can do with an NFT now that you've been with us for 20 minutes or so? Kate, you have an idea? All right.
If I was sitting there, I would say something rude back.
Okay.
What you can do with NFTs.
So, do you want to share any other advice on NFTs? Other than go Google it, because that's not a good thing to do.
Just don't be afraid of new technologies.
Yeah.
Just I don't know. You have the early adopters usually get the most out of it. They usually have a little more risk, but they have all the fun.
Yeah. So you got to play around with it, definitely. Just make sure that you have someone who's your Sherpa to guide you through, the weeds of it. And like anything else, especially with technology, it is part of consumer behavior now. You also, I think, from my perspective, you have to kind of consider who your audience is, the demographics of that audience, and how tech savvy they are in the sense of, are they in it? Because it's not something that you would want to say, I'm not going to try it out, if your audience is already in it. It just shows that you are not with the times, if you know what I mean, for that specific audience. I think the best other advice that I would give from how to implement or how to create a strategy around it is potentially include some of those that are savvy about Web3 NFTs that are within your community or even with the attendees themselves that can be your advisors or a group of people that you can lean on hard. Because if it comes peer-to-peer, then first and foremost, the education curve is less. They can educate others on what NFTs is all about or where the value is. But they can become your ambassadors, especially if you're starting or trying something new. Cool?
If I may,
Yes.
considering that the minting of NFT requires, you need to have the crypto wallet and you need to understand how to do certain things. It's really easier to find some company who already created that utility builder,
Yeah.
Because you can just click, you select the things you want and they all do it for you. I would not personally try to go through the whole process because I consider the time very valuable. It's much better to figure out what to do with the NFT and try it.
Is there any companies that you know of that do it really well or already doing utility building?
I'm working with a company called Eureka.
What is it called?
Eureka, Eureka, but starting with A.
All right.
So, so they built quite a nice utility builder and they have good ideas how to use it. I believe they cooperate with some places, and one of those use cases are the tickets for the events.
Perfect. Awesome. Any other questions before we wrap it up? Was this okay? Good? Awesome.
Who wants to go? Sorry, Dalhlia. Who wants to go for a drink or just catch up somewhere there and talk about these things?
Jan is very social. And if you're lucky, after one drink, he will write a poem for you. Just saying.
Jeez, I don't need a drink for that, Dalhlia.
Well, okay, so it's an open, actually, welcome kind of invitation. We're going to be at the North American Hub if you have any questions. But if you want a glass of champagne, please follow us there, and we will have that with you. And I think this was good. What do you think?
I don't know. I love you, Dalhlia.
Have a great, great evening and see you tomorrow.